Ready?
Yeah.
Good morning, Sasideka. Hi guys, my name is Harvey.
You're hi, I'm Savvy.
We were married for about 2 years, headed into our third, so I think that qualifies us to talk about the reality of marriage.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at people online and think, oh, marriage is not this smooth sailing thing, but you think in your first year should be like your honeymoon phase, and for us that just wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, and the more and more people we talk to, especially our age, newly married, they'll all agree it's not that.
Yeah, it's not what you see on social media, kids. It's actually really, really hard. Marriage is really hard.
It takes a lot, but it's like a flower. It'll blossom into something amazing.
Yeah.
The generation the older people give, it worked for them, it won't work for us. It really is a different time.
I think we see all these couples on Instagram and on like TikTok or whatever, and they all look so happy, and first year of marriage is like this amazing thing, and for us that just wasn't reality. And yeah, I think it's more common than not that's actually not the reality.
Absolutely. We speak to a lot of people that are in the same age bracket or recently been married, and we all kind of share similar stories, and
Yeah.
this kind of masquerade of this being a honeymoon phase or it's
Yeah.
so glamorous it's all fake. It's all bullshit.
It is. I mean, for some people it's probably true. I wouldn't say it's bullshit. Maybe some people do have that, but we didn't. And we just want to talk about some of the things, and we want to be more transparent. And even if there's one person out there that's in a similar boat to us and watches this and thinks, do you know what? It is normal to sometimes feel that way.
100%. And this
then we're
platform is to ask questions.
Yeah.
And it's for us to kind of have advice for the new generation. The old generation, they give so much advice, but none of it works. None of it's applicable anymore. It's all very outdated.
Yeah.
So this is a platform to just kind of discuss, talk about challenges and kind of ways to overcome them.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that we spoke about earlier was that we didn't go on a honeymoon, which is a bit controversial, blah, 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 whatever. We didn't go on a honeymoon because we wanted to save money. We had a goal that we wanted to hit, and we were very headstrong on hitting that goal. So we ended up living with both of our parents at one point to save money.
Yeah, to us, a house was like a priority, as it should be, but we didn't know what it was costing us in the long run.
Yeah, I think looking back in hindsight, I definitely wouldn't have done that. I would, not to say that I would have gone on a massive expensive honeymoon, but I would have not lived with our parents. I think that was a big mistake. Like, our parents are great and all, but I don't think that we should have lived with them.
Yeah, I think introducing a new entity into a household can be quite challenging. It's kind of like territorial. I don't want to go quite too animalistic, but even when a new member joins a tribe, conflict arises. And it's the same thing. It is the same thing. No, seriously, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, because when like a new entity comes in, some people feel threatened, some people will be happy, some people are calm, but the majority of time, and from other men I've spoken to as well, some people feel threatened.
Oh, you mean that people in the house might feel threatened?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah. I was like, where are you going with this? But yeah, so I feel like with me, when we moved into my parents' house, it just kind of felt like I was stuck. Like, it's not to say my parents were bad or anything. This was more an internal feeling that I had that was an issue. Was I felt like we'd done this big thing, like we had this big wedding, and we went and lived like back with my mum, and I just, for me that was mentally challenging, and I think that seeped through into parts of our relationship where I wasn't happy.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. But to be honest with you, I had no complaint living with you.
Yeah,
They
were great.
They were genuinely great.
They were great. Like I said, it was nothing to do with it.
But I think it was more because it was your childhood home.
Yeah.
To end up back there.
Yeah, like you have this big dream of, oh, I'm gonna get married, and then I'm gonna like, it's a bit childish, but I'm gonna like live in a mansion, and like it's, like you have this dream. I had this dream anyway, and it didn't turn out that way, and it caused, I think, mentally for me, I wasn't in the best place at all.
Again, in aim of saving money, we were jumping through a few different careers to keep chasing the money again, and we were constantly saving, so we weren't quite seeing that quality of life improving, in the sense of maybe possession and holidays, and
Yeah, I think that's challenging as well. Like knowing that you're saving and that you can't see the money because you know the money's going to something bigger. So like you're working so hard and you're constantly just putting that money aside, and you see all these other couples and they get married and they go on these holidays or they buy these houses and they do this and blah blah blah, and you're just like, oh man, this fucking sucks. Yeah, this sucks. And like and then we lived with Harvey's parents for a little while, which
was challenging.
Yeah.
Moving into my family home we came across more challenges that were unanticipated, if you will. So we had to navigate in a whole new direction. But I think it's really important, especially being from a male side of you, internalizing what are problems between you as husband and wife and what are problems driven by external factors that are overlapping and spilling into your marriage.
Yeah, I think one problem. I felt like I was the daughter-in-law that wasn't liked very much, and I hated that because I am actually
you're a really nice person.
No, not that. Thanks. But no, I'm a big people pleaser, and that was a big issue for me because I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, what am I doing wrong? And I think, again, mentally, that was a big thing for me where I was like, what do I keep doing wrong? I've got a big mouth. I have got a big mouth. And when I say a big mouth, I'm not talking crap. I'm genuinely just telling you my opinion on things. Yeah. Really opinionated.
Both very quite bold, opinionated,
yeah,
strong-minded as well.
And that's another thing. I feel like because we're such big personalities as individuals, living in our parents' houses was a mistake because it meant that our big personalities were coming together and butting.
And other people's personality were conflicting with us as well.
Yeah, and when we're loud people as it is, if we're having a conversation like this, like say for example, if we had an argument, we would be in Harvey's room and
after 10 minutes we've sorted it out.
Yeah, like we can sort a problem out like in 10 minutes.
Mari moti tu and that's it, sorted. But it's normal, after 10 minutes we've kind of done and dealt with, whereas other people may overhear and they'd be like thinking, oh my god, that bitch, or that bastard, and this and that.
Like we could have a conversation and speak to each other and be like, you fucking piss me off, like just stop what you're doing, like you're just really pissing me off. But then someone outside will hear me saying that and be like, oh, I just spoke to him like that, like, oh my gosh, bitch. And like, I just think you can't be yourself living with your in-laws, especially as, I'm going to speak just from perspective, just as an Indian girl going into a family that's very typically Indian in terms of stereotypes. Yeah, you just can't go in and be yourself. You have to go in and sit there and be like, yes, I'll do that. And I did do that for the most part, but there were small things where I was just like, I'm not willing to compromise what I think is right.
100%. Just to fit the mold. To be honest with you, what I think annoys me the most is if you're going to compromise, it should be for me, not for anyone else.
Yeah.
So I think that...
Yeah, I feel like if he had a problem with something, then I'd be like, all right, cool, like, let's actually sit down. Because I'm your partner, you know, I owe you that.
Because there was a lot you were compromising for people around you. Again, linking back to that people pleaser thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't want you to do that myself.
Yeah, Anyway, so that was an issue.
Yeah. But again, that kind of links into realizing what are internal problems and what are external problems and which one affects how, and learning to fine tune those and navigate, because navigating with external factors with your family can cause unnecessary bullshit. You get dragged into bullshit family politics that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And then you get downgraded each time, every time you disobey your parents. It's not worth it.
And do you know what I think people don't realise is that, you know, when you get married, a lot of families and in-laws that I've seen in our generation, what they don't realise is that you get married and this is you trying to figure it out now. Like, this is two people that have never lived together, well, in our case, never lived together, living together, learning each other, learning how each other just breathe at this point. Just coexist. And that alone is not easy.
It's challenging, yeah.
And then add on top of that, two people that are very ambitious and that have goals, to hit those goals, it was hard. Like, saving money, and like I said earlier, like it wasn't always the easiest thing in the world. Like, my job was quite intense, his job is quite intense, and it's a lot having to leave your job and then come home and have to deal with okay, now I have to put on the suit and be the best daughter-in-law I can be. Or he would come home and sometimes inevitably be dragged into my family shit, and it's just, yeah, to give yourself the best odds as a newly married couple, I would not advise, unless you really, really, really get on with your in-laws, I wouldn't advise living with them.
Yeah, and although it sounds so simple, and advice always sounds so simple until you've actually gone through the grief of it.
Yeah.
But prioritize yourselves. That's number one. And if your wife's gonna compromise for anyone, it should be for you, not for anyone else. That's in my opinion. Sorry guys, we had a few technical problems there.
Yeah, anyway, so leading on from what we were saying before, Harvey actually has a friend who, in a similar situation to us, got married similar time to us and was struggling during first year marriage. Not down to problems that they were having between them two as a couple, but more external noise getting into their heads. And they lived with their parents as well and had a similar experience to us. And unfortunately for them, it didn't end well. They're getting divorced now, and it's just become something that it didn't need to be. And maybe if they had moved out earlier, then maybe this wouldn't have happened.
100%, yeah. I speak with him often, and he completely regrets it, and he completely recognizes. He wishes it never happened. He actually is trying to make things work now, and it's 10 times harder.
Yeah.
Because of what he's done.
Yeah, I think the girl was like too far gone. She's really upset with how things turned out, because in her defense, she was trying her best to abide by, probably even more so than I have tried in my experience. Yeah, she was way more submissive than I was, and they still didn't work out for them.
Yeah, and it's just an example of someone he's completely thrown the beginning of his life away. He's now going to be, again, I think it's 20
he's not been in his child's life for quite some time, and now he's trying to go back, but it's like
just completely messed up.
Yeah, and
really
it just didn't need to be that. And maybe if they'd moved out and not lived with them and just blocked all the outside noise out from families and stuff and just focused on the relationship, then they would have still been together today and would be raising their child together today. But they're not, and it's just not great. So all to say, look, it's really normal to not have the first year of your marriage be this thing where you go on this honeymoon and you
absolutely perfect, no arguments.
Yeah, and don't be scared of that. It's normal. Yeah, that's our advice.
Absolutely. So with the noise, badug leke goli mare penchod, and just get on with your life. That's it.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't understand that, he in a very nice way said,
block the noise out.
Yes. But yeah, so that's our first video about the reality of marriage in your 20s. It's not always easy, but don't give up, because when you get out on the other end of it, it really is great.
It will be the best decision you ever made.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.